I came across the Gearbox Pro Control quite by accident while on the court. A friend who had one let me play a game with it, and the entire game, 2 words kept popping in my mind. Comfortable and balanced. I kept thinking that while I was playing the first time with this paddle, and I was actually surprised to find out that my friend's paddle was the control version of the Gearbox Pro. Lots of control paddles I've played with in the past hit rather dull. And for me, I have to put a lot of muscle behind the power shots and my drives, especially my backhand shots. But this paddle is one of the good ones. It provides the balance I want so I can drive when I want, and the control to finesse the ball at the net. It did take me a little bit of time to find my soft touch when I started playing with this paddle. I put a lot of dinks in the net, and then it started to become like second nature, which was really nice, and here comes the word again, very comfortable. The SST carbon fiber core is ribbed for better energy transfer, and that gives me the power I want and also the control. Spins come off very easily with this paddle, which is about the same as other paddles of the same quality. Another thing I immediately noticed was how wide and responsive the sweet spot was. Now, I do play with a ball retriever on the end of my grip, which can be a factor in making the sweet spot a little bit wider, but I don't think it contributes that much. As someone who has had major issues with tennis elbow over the last few years, I'm always concerned about the vibration dampening properties of any paddle that I play with. And the Gearbox company was the first paddle company to engineer an anti-vibration technology into the core of the paddle. It's called Smart Dampen technology. The patented SST core is not the traditional honeycomb core, so Gearbox can incorporate more technology into their cores. I really noticed this when I was hitting the ball because the paddle just really does not vibrate that much, and it's also not as noisy. That's a big help if you have or have had any issues. So here's what I wasn't so crazy about. It has one-piece construction, which is awesome, and you get a choice of 2 variations. The first is pretty typical, an elongated one, which is 11 inches long and 7 3/8 inch wide. The second variation is a little bit awkward. It's called Integra, and that's this one, and it's not the traditional 8 inches wide. It's the same width as the elongated version, but a 1/2 inch shorter. So it's a little bit of a funky shape, but surprisingly, I adjusted to it without any problems. Both Pro versions, Control and Power, have 14 millimeter thickness, and they are both edgeless, which I am always in favor of. The weight is 8 ounces, and you do not get the option to customize it when you order. It's a little bit of a disappointment for a paddle that runs $274. Overall, I thought this paddle was easy to adjust to. My transition time was very short, just a couple of days, and I have really enjoyed playing with this paddle. Spins, especially my serves, it seems, were really awesome, and it was easy for me to maintain my backhand game without any extra effort. I got solid hits from my drives and drops without exerting my arm or without it being too poppy and sending balls long constantly. I previously played with a paddle that was built specifically for vibration dampening, and I loved it for years, but I think the Gearbox Pro Control is going to be my new go-to. Now, Gearbox does their demos and their returns a little bit differently, so if you want to try this or other Gearbox paddles, here's the information you need to know. They do have a demo program, and you can select up to 4 paddles. And Gearbox will ship those to you at a cost of $20. Then you'll have 15 days from the time the package is delivered to play with those paddles and check them out and try them for a while. you would send back the ones that you were using a prepaid shipping label that's included in your box. Then you could go to gearbox.com or any authorized dealer and place an order for the paddle or paddles that you liked and decided to keep. Their return policy, however, does not allow refunds on paddles that have been used in any way, shape, or form. Now, you might see that I have tricked it out with fun-colored pink tape and a personalized band grip, and I'll leave you information about that below in the description. If you have any questions about the Gearbox Pro Control, leave them down in the comments section, and I'll get right back to you. I'm Karen Thaxton with Live the Pickleball Life. Stick around. Another great pickleball video is coming up next.